Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. So, as I'd mentioned in my last odds and ends video, I was going to be on the road traveling a lot, and have been on the road traveling a lot over the past couple of weeks, and still have some traveling to do before this stretch is over. But I am back home after about 8 days on the road between work and some pleasure mixed in there. Just got back from the ArnFest event up in the Chicago area of northern Illinois, actually Union, Illinois, at the Illinois Railway Museum. I was up there this past weekend and finally got home after making a little detour trip over to Houston for work on the way home. But finally got home yesterday and got my truck unloaded with all the little goodies that I picked up while I was up there. And I thought that I would just do a quick video here, or it may not be too quick, but do a video here showing you guys some of the things that we picked up during the ArnFest event. As you can see, my table here is pretty full, and I'm pretty excited. Had some opportunities, had a little swap meet going on the Saturday morning, and lots of different stuff on people's tailgates for sale. And for me, living down here in rural South Georgia in farming country, there's just really not a whole lot of manufacturing and industry, nor has there ever been a lot of that in this part of the country. And because of that, finding tooling, finding machinery, and all those kinds of things, it's not impossible, but it's kind of difficult down here compared to a lot of the more industrial parts of our country. So anytime I get a chance to go and take advantage of being in another part of the country where there is a lot more industry and people able to pick things up off of auctions and what have you, I like to take advantage of it, because I can always find some good deals, better deals than I can find around here. So enough of me talking about this. Let's get in here and we'll kind of zoom you in on some of these items and show you some of the stuff I picked up. And I will just say this, over the next few weeks I actually picked up quite a bit of stuff up there. Some of it was some machinery and so forth, some bigger ticket items, I guess, that I had purchased. Some of them I had purchased months before I got there. It was just when I was able to pick them up and bring them home. And over the next few weeks, we'll be doing some other videos showing you some of the other things I picked up. But this is kind of I guess what I'd call the smalls. And I do want to share these with you guys if you're interested. Won't be any machine shop tooling or actual machining going on in this video, and I know some of you guys tell me you don't like this format. Some of you guys tell me you do. So if you're looking for machining content, that'll be coming down the road. It's going to probably be another week or two before I have any shop time to do any more filming like that. But anyway, this is what we're going to have here, is just sharing you some of my finds from the ArnFest. All right, so let's get going with this. So there's a lot of stuff to cover. I'm going to try not to spend too much time on these individual items, and we're going to start with this tray. And this was just laying out on someone's tailgate or whatever, and basically what it is a bunch of great big end mills. So these are about 2 inches in diameter. Yeah, so these are about 2 inches in diameter, and there was a total of 5 of these, varying lengths. They're all pretty much in need of sharpening, and you can tell the different lengths are where they have been sharpened over the years. So this one was probably originally, this one was this tall or taller, and pretty much all the edges on these. A couple of these aren't bad, but they're not really any of them sharp. So these are probably going to be candidates for getting resharpened. If anybody out there does any tool sharpening and wants to talk to me about maybe doing a little bit of sharpening work, I've actually got a lot of end mills that I need to start working on getting sharpened at some point in time. So I'd be interested in finding someone that's got a good tool grinder and can do some work like this. So let me know. Alright, so I got a couple of metal boxes here, 2 of them. These are just, got your normal dividers on the inside for storing things. And these, again, I'm always looking for stuff to store things in. And I've got some of these larger boxes in a bin that it holds them. I don't have any for these smaller ones like this, but maybe I can dig up some more of these and get a little holder to put them in. I've been wanting to get a good selection of machine screws in various lengths and sizes. I've got a bunch of just individual boxes of those things laying around, but I can't ever find the one I'm looking for. So these are probably turn into a machine screw assortment at some point in time when I get some time to dig up all the ones that I've got laying in different places and try to get these organized. So this is a brand spanking new old stock Starrett 1 to 2. This is a number 2 Starrett 1 to 2 micrometer that measures to a 10,000th of an inch. And I had another 1 to 2 micrometer that measures to a 1,000th of an inch. It wasn't a Starrett. It was I can't remember what brand it was, but I never was really crazy about it. It just didn't feel like a real quality instrument. And the other day, I was out in the shop and I looked down on the floor and I saw my micrometer lying on the floor. I don't know how it got there, but it was basically thrown off of something and hit the floor. And when I started measuring with it, it was messed up and it was really kind of weird. I figured, I'll just recalibrate it. And I reset it to 0, but then or at 1 inch, it measures just fine. But as you get out farther, it starts varying. So I think maybe the whole back part here bent just a little bit, and it's measuring now. It's measuring funky. Anyway, I found this one. Like I said, it was still in its original Starrett bag, never been used. Got just a little bit of surface rust down here, but that'll clean up just fine. Came with a little calibration disc, and anyway, I picked this up. Yeah, I don't remember what I paid for it now, but anyway, I took advantage of an opportunity. I like Starrett stuff, so this will replace that other one that measures to a 10,000th. I've actually got a Starrett that's almost identical to this one, but it only measures to a 1,000th that I've had for a long time. But now this one will be another one that I can measure to 10,000ths with, and I've got a set from 0 to 6 inches that I can measure to a 10,000th of an inch. So as long as we're talking about measuring tools, here's another one that I picked up. This is a Brown & Sharp, nice wooden box, and this is a depth micrometer set. And it looks like it measures from, or I've got rods in here basically go from 0 to 9 inches. I'm wondering if there may not have been a 9 inches seems like an odd size, so I'm wondering if there's another slot in here, so there may have been another one of these rods to go to 10 inches at one time, but I've got the rods to go to 9 inches in here now. Looks like a nice set. It's in good shape. No real rust or anything. At one time belonged to a J. Holloway, or at least that name is inscribed right there on the side of this. So anyway, I thought this was a nice addition. Not sure what the vintage is on these, but anyway, 20 bucks. I remember that one. A lot of these guys, I don't remember what I paid for them. Some of them I do. There was just so much stuff I can't remember what each item was, but he had $25 on it. I looked at it and was just kind of looking at it, and he dropped the price down to $20, and I said, heck, for 20 bucks, I got to pick it up. I've actually got I think a 0 to 6 inch depth micrometer set, but this one goes to 9 inches, so I picked it up. All right, the black box. This is one I really kind of hemmed and hawed about. I went over and fella had a bunch of stuff in a little sale going on, and this was over there on his table. And this black box, you can't really see it probably in the video, but right here you can make out Starrett on there. And when you open it up, it is a nice Starrett level, machinist level. And I'm told that this is the really high-end, super accurate version that Starrett made. When I got it, I've actually done a little cleaning up on it. It had some surface rust. I took this thing apart last night and cleaned up some of that surface rust just lightly. And also it was really dirty. In fact, it had enough surface rust and dirt on it when I first looked at it. I almost just said, no, it's too rough. But I got to looking a little bit closer, and I said, I think that's mostly just dirt. I think it'll clean off and or clean up. And as I got it home, I realized that yes, indeed, it was just real light dust or dirt on there. It cleaned up very nice. So it does have a couple little chips here on this little plastic face, one there and one there. That doesn't affect its use. Measures the bubble. The one division is 5/10,000ths of an inch per foot. Both the bubbles in it are good. I did take this apart when I was cleaning it yesterday. I'm going to have to recalibrate the bubble in here, but that's not difficult to do. I just need to take the time to do it. And also, when I took it apart, on the end of the vial, on the bubble, it had the date May 25th, 1964 or 65. I think it was 64, which I'm assuming is when this was originally put together. So anyway, this comes and it's a nice original wooden box. The box, isn't pretty, but it's there. It's functional. It's original. And like I said, I had to do a little bit of cleaning on this. The bottom, it actually looks like it's been hand scraped. A lot of those marks that you see in there are scraping marks from hand scraping. So anyway, it's got a few little, just surface scratches in it from using it, but nothing that looks major or severe at all. So this would be a nice addition. I have a smaller, I think 6-inch level. The Starrett, it's not this high-end one like this one is. I forget what they called this. The Master Line, I think, is what they called it. I can't remember. But anyway, this was nice. So he had a price tag on it of $150. I picked it up 3 or 4 times looking at it, kept coming back to it, and actually walked away from it and walked back to my truck. And I got out of the truck and I said, you know what, I'm going to kick myself one of these days for not buying that level. So I went back in and I picked it up and was just looking at it again, and the guy said, I'll take $125 for it. And I said, all right, you got a deal. So I paid $125 for this, which was a big chunk out of my budget for the weekend, but I just said, what the heck, when am I going to get another chance to buy one of these at that price? So again, I do need to get it recalibrated. I think it was actually calibrated pretty good, but when I took it apart to clean it, I'm going to have to recalibrate it, but no big deal, we'll get that done. So the same guy I got the level from, he had a bunch of just bins around with different stuff in them, and they were marked different prices, $1, $3, $5 for $1, just different things. And these 3 items came out of a box that was labeled $3 each. And this here is a little tap holder that you can put on the lathe. Chuck this up on the end of the lathe, and you can put a die in here and actually use this for chasing threads on the lathe. So sometimes I kind of will do this by hand, where I will be threading something. I'll get the thread started real good, threading them on the lathe, and then when I get down close to finish, instead of trying to get it just exactly right on the lathe, I'll just run a die down it by hand. But with this right here, I can actually just put the die in my tailstock and just run it up on there. I guess you could cut the whole thread with one of these, but I like to get the thread at least halfway cut before I cut it with the die. It just makes for a nicer finish on it. And really, usually when I do this, I'm just finishing out the last couple of thousandths of an inch or so. The nice thing about that is, particularly if you're trying to do something, if you got a good die in here, it will get you right down to the finished size. So you're not having to kind of guess at that on the lathe. So anyway, this is a nice little tool. I've seen these before. I've never had one. It was made by SW Card, Mansfield, Massachusetts. SW Card Manufacturing, it looks like. So anyway, that was nice, $3. Also had some high-speed steel tool blanks in there. And these were $3 a piece, so that's what a 3/4 by 3/4 maybe, something like that. 3/4 by 3/8 maybe, and then these nice 2 pieces of Momax, 1/2 inch by 1 inch, brand spanking new. So anyway, I was glad to pick those up. Another nice little find that I picked up was this little Crichton or boring head. It's a little small boring head, not the full blown size ones like you normally see, but this is the Crichton brand Model 2. Boring heads are nice to have. I have one for my vertical mill that I use from time to time, but it's quite honestly, it's an import brand. It's not a real high-end one. No more than I use it, it actually works pretty good. But anyway, I was real tickled to find this one here. He had $50 on this, but I actually bought this along with several other items, and I think I paid $75 for all of it. It included a bunch of horizontal milling machine cutters, and I can't remember what else, but in the end, it was less than $50, which is what he had on there when I bundled everything together. It's got USAF on there, so at one time it belonged to U.S. Air Force. So these actually came with that boring head. I remembered when I picked it up just now. And these are mandrels, turning mandrels, tapered mandrels for turning between centers. He had just an assortment of different sizes, and anyway, there's 2 1/2 inches in here. There's a 5/8, 2 3/4, and a 1 inch. So I've got some of these. I don't really have a complete set of them by any means. I usually, when I've needed a particular size, I've just bought one. So this was nice. I don't think I have all these sizes. I think I may have a 3/4. I can't remember. Most of mine are actually bigger than these that I have. But anyway, this will be nice. So if you got something that has like a 1/2 inch bore in it and you want to turn on that bore, you just press it on this. It's 5,000 smaller on one end to the other, and it just kind of tapers on there, and you just press it in place and put this between centers on the lathe, and you can turn whatever your item that you have on there. You can turn it perfectly true with the bore. So these come in handy, come in real nice and handy. So that was included with that boring head, along with a big stack of horizontal milling machine cutters. So next we got a R8 3/4 inch end mill holder here, or it may not be use it for an end mill. You can put anything that has a 3/4 inch shank in there. This it's a little bit rough, but it appears to be in good shape. I think it'll clean up fine. This was actually a freebie. One of my viewers, I think Brian Kachaduran, gave this to me if I remember right, along with a couple other items. So let me see if I can dig out the other things that Brian gave me. We'll kind of put all those together. But that was one of the things that Brian gave me as kind of a viewer gift. All right, and I think this is what all Brian gave me. Brian, if there was something else in there, I apologize. Everything kind of got piled together. So there's a bag here. It's got a couple of center drills in here. So that's a number 5. Looks like a number 3 and a number 2. These are always handy, guys. These little center drills, you go buy new ones and they're dang expensive. These all appear to be in good shape. So anyway, thank you, Brian, for those. Also, this little Starrett box here. Unfortunately, it's empty. So it looks like it was made to hold a little micrometer. So I may have to figure out what model goes in here and see if I can maybe find that right micrometer to fit this nice Starrett box. Box is in great shape. So anyway, I have to figure out what goes in here. And finally was this, and this is a Starrett 50-foot tape measure. So anyway, that's another nice thing to have around, and particularly a Starrett. You know it's got to be good. Even still has the original instructions in there. Important instructions. Alright, moving right along here, we got a little blacksmith's tool. So this is a Hardy, cut-off Hardy. So it's kind of chisel shaped, and the little square hole on the anvil, this fits down in there, and basically you would just come up to there and you take a hammer and cut off whatever you're working on. So this was laying on Mark, I can't remember his last name. Anyway, It was laying on his table, and he had a $1 price tag on it. I've got a little anvil that belonged to my great-grandfather that has a 3/4 inch hardy hole on it, so I couldn't resist it. This is a manufactured one. It's not a blacksmith made one. In fact, it's got stamped on here somewhere 3/4. Yeah, right here on the side. It looks like it's cast in there 3/4 inch. So anyway, that'll go on my anvil. Alright, so here's a cute little item that was a gift. Oh goodness, and I'm trying to remember who gave it to me. Guys, forgive me. There's so many people, and I'm not good with names anyway. I can see his face, but I just can't think of his name right now. But one of my viewers, I believe, on my channel here, came up to me and just gave this to me. So this is some of you guys may recognize this if you do woodworking, but this is a little tool that, a little angle gauge that you can use to set an angle, and it's got a little lever there with a screw in it that you use to tighten up. And Stanley made these in larger sizes. I've never seen one this small, and I believe that this one was actually craftsman made. I don't think this was a commercial product. I think someone made this little tiny one here. But anyway, he came up to me and gave it to me, and very appreciative. I actually have a selection of different Stanley ones of different sizes, but not one this small, so that'll make a nice addition to go with my other ones. In fact, to kind of give you an idea of the standard size ones, I just looked over there and realized I had some of these hanging up on the wall. These are some different sizes. These are Stanleys. All these are Stanleys, as you can see. These are the rosewood and brass ones, similar to the little homemade one here, and you see the nice little push handle on there. And like I said, they came in a lot of different sizes. And then this one here is a metal one. Instead of having that little lever on there, it's got a screw on the back that you loosen up, and same type thing. You can then tighten that down to get your angle. And again, you would just use this to, if you were measuring an angle on something and just wanted to transfer that angle, not really caring what the angle was, but just transfer that angle over to another piece, and then it kind of works like a square where you got the edge and you can mark your line on there. So again, a woodworking tool, but actually I can see where one of these might actually come in handy for metalworking as well, particularly if you need to go in and measure an angle in a tight spot. Then you could transfer that angle and maybe measure it with a protractor head or something to figure out what it is. So this will go with my other ones. Thanks. So some of you guys probably remember the John Schleich toolbox that I purchased several months ago, and my friend Carl up in Rockford, Illinois picked that up for me, and he mailed most of the tools back to me, but there were a few things in the toolbox that wouldn't fit in the little priority box, cheap rate boxes, so he saved those and gave them to me, and these were really two of the items that were just too long to go in the boxes. First off is a Miller's Fall scale, nice 18-inch scale. Nice to have a nice big scale, so it's got 8/16, 30 seconds, and 64-cent increments on the four sides of it, and also this Greenfield number 5 tap wrench. This is something I'm really excited about because I don't have a tap wrench this big. They got one out of the museum that I use all the time, but anyway, it'll be nice to have my own now. So I'm excited to get this nice big tap handle. Another item picked up here, that Carl, the same guy that I got that stuff from there that had brought that to me, he had sent me a message probably a week or two before the event and said, hey, I got this, you know what it is, you interested in it? And this is a Warner and Swasey tapping head, I guess you would call it. I can't remember the proper name for it. It has a proper name, but basically this would be going on a turret lathe, and depending on what you do is you'd run the turret in and it would tap, and when it got to a certain place, basically the tap would just start spinning, and then when you pulled the turret back, it would re-engage, and it would allow the tap to come out. So it was kind of a production tool for doing tapping. I really have no practical use for this whatsoever. I guess you know, I used to run some Warner Swayze turret lathes back in my machine shop days, so kind of brought back sentimental stuff for me a little bit. And who knows, maybe one of these days I'll get a turret lathe just to play around with. But anyway, picked that up. I think I paid him 25 bucks for it, which on eBay these go for about 4 or 5 times that much. So anyway, I thought that was a good deal, so I just said, heck, I'll take it. So these are a bunch of surface grinder wheels, 6 different grits, sizes. All of them appear to have been used. These are freebies. Guy had a box of them, and he said, here, just take some. So I don't have a surface grinder right now, but that's actually one of the items on my list of things that I really want to get one of these days. So anyway, I took him up on his offer and carried him home with me. Told you guys before, I'm a sucker for files. I like files. I use files all the time, and when I see a good used file or a new file, I usually will pick it up if the price is right. So I told you one of the guys out there had those boxes, you know, with different prices on it. So he had one box that was 5 for $1, and I dug around in there and I found 5 files that I brought home with me for $1. They're all used, but they're all actually appear to be in pretty good shape. And yeah, they could use some cleaning, but these right here will probably go in a box. And next time I send some files out to Boggs to get sharpened, which I have done before, and they do a great job, these will probably go in there and get sharpened. So I think all these are USA, K and F, made in USA, Simons, mill second cut, mill file. Well, that one's a no name. I don't see anything on that one. This is a Nicholson number 1, half round. This actually looks like a nice little file. And that one there, it's got a name stamped on the tang, but it's in this handle. I'm not going to pull it out. Looks like someone ground the end of it down to make a little scraper, but the file part here is still in good shape as well. Anyway, for $1, I couldn't turn it down. So here's another little item. Looks like a new in box. Alamite, Stewart Warner. This is a little water filter, moisture separator. Goes on an airline. So I've got an air compressor out here at the shop. Most of the time it just stays turned off. I turn it on when I need it, but I always have moisture in the line problems. So anyway, this looks like a real nice one. I've also got one on my blast cabinet at the museum, and it has a moisture separator on it, but it's not near as nice as this one here. In fact, I may even put it out there at some point in time. But anyway, can't remember what I paid for this. It's like 15-20 bucks maybe. Anyway, I thought that was a good deal, so I took it. So next is my big haul of Reimers. I was kind of excited about this. Guy had a box full of Reimers, and had a price on there, 75 bucks. I looked at him, was digging through the box, and he said, I'll take 50 for him, before I ever even said anything. I said, I'll take you on that offer. So really didn't even have a chance to look in the box and kind of see what was in there. I did kind of open up a couple of the bags these were in and just take a quick look, and most of these Reimers appear to be in pretty good shape. Some of these Reimers I can tell by looking at them just need to go in the garbage. But most of them, I think, are going to be usable. A lot of these look like they've hardly been used. Some of these have seen a good bit of use, and others, like I said, they're trash. But anyway, for 50 bucks, I counted these a while ago. I counted. My number was right. It's going to be close. It was about 155 Reimers here. So I figure I invested about 33 cents a piece in these. And for 33 cents a piece, I'm sure that I can pick out enough in here to be worth 50 bucks. A lot of these are probably duplicate sizes. I haven't even started going through these to figure out exactly what I've got. But again, I think I'm going to come out pretty good on this deal. Some of them are still in their original sleeves, hadn't even been used. Anyway, and again, others of them just need to be thrown in the garbage, but I think we're going to come out real good on this deal. So now my challenge is I need to get all these things organized and in a way to figure out where I can put my hands on them real quick. So if you got any good ideas for Reimer organization, shoot me a note. I'd be interested in seeing what you got or what your ideas are. You know, I know Hewitt makes the little Reimer cabinets, kind of like I've got some of my drill bits in, and that's definitely a possibility, something I may look at doing, particularly for most of these are smaller sizes. So I can probably go through here and fill one of those up pretty easily. Of course, I've seen, you know, where people just put them on a wooden stand or a little wood piece and have holes drilled in them and have them organized that way. But if you got another idea of how you keep your Reimers organized besides those two, by all means shoot me a note and let me see what you got or what you're thinking of, because I'm gonna have to, like I've told you guys before, I'm real kind of ticky. I like to be able to go put my hands on what I need when I need it. And number one, it's not real good for these Reimers to be in a drawer banging up to one another, and I really didn't like the fact they were all in plastic bags when I got them. But that's the way they were. So I really want to get them all separated and put in each individual place, but also, you know, I don't want to have to go through here digging through 100 Reimers to find the one that I need. I just want to be able to go in there and look for a particular size and pull it out and be able to go with it. So I got to get these organized. That's going to be a job. It's going to be a job to figure out what they all are. A lot of them are stamped, you know, with a size .320, you know, whatever. But some of these don't even have a size on them. So anyway, this is going to be a fun little project to sort all these out. So here's another little item that I picked up while I was up there. I'd actually purchased this a while back, but again, it was one of those that I picked up, got brought in for me while I was up there. But this is a little Famco number 2 Arbor Press. I've got one about the same size. I don't think it's a Famco out at the museum that I use from time to time, but this one was a little bit nicer than the one I had out there. The price was right on it. I can't remember what I paid on it, but it was a really good deal. Like I said, I bought this thing probably 3 or 4 months ago. It's just now getting my hands on it. Has a daisy wheel on it. It's in good shape. So anyway, I was kind of tickled to pick this up, and I'll keep it here at the shop here at the house. I'm always needing to press something on, light press something on here. This way I won't have to run out to the museum to do it. So, and this one is, even though I think the one I have out there is also a number 2 size, this one is just a little bit beefier. I think it's going to work a little bit better than the other one that I have. So here's another one that I'm kind of excited about. A guy out at the swap meet on Saturday morning had this cast iron surface plate sitting out there for sale. This is a 24 by 24 cast iron, real nice, real beefy, heavy. This thing probably weighs 300 pounds, I'm guessing, maybe a little bit more than that. It was a load for 2 of us to pick it up and put it in my truck when we moved it. It's been hand scraped. I haven't checked this for flatness yet to make sure that everything's good and flat on it, but the fact that it is hand scraped and not just, a lot of times you just see the quick scrape marks. This looks like it's been worked down, so I'm hoping that this is good and flat. If not, this might be a scraping project for me when I finally get around learning how to do some scraping. But I am wanting to do some scraping and learn how to do some scraping. And one of the things you really got to have to do scraping is have a good reference surface. And I've got a smaller 12 by 18 granite surface plate, but I was really tickled to get this 24 by 24. This will be a nice addition. Something that I'm looking forward to using, and of course laying out parts on and what have you. That little 12 by 18 is just a little too small a lot of times. This one here, most of the time, is probably going to be big enough for most of the things I do. So he had a $100 price tag on this. I kind of saw it late in the day and went up and started talking to him about it. He really didn't want to take it back home with him. It's just so heavy. He had it in the back of his car, and he's like, this thing's a load on this car. So anyway, I said, well, I was running kind of short on cash. I said, would you consider a trade? And he said, well, maybe. So I had the top box off of that toolbox that I got that I've also picked up, the John Schleich. It was a Kennedy top box. I've got two more just like it. And while I can always use another toolbox, you know, I really didn't need that toolbox. And anyway, so would you consider taking the toolbox in trade? And I ended up giving him the top box and $25 in cash for this. So I was pretty tickled with that because, like I said, I really didn't need the top box at all. And this was something that I can put to use. So I got some milling machine arbors for my horizontal mill. Really only was wanting one of these for myself, a 1-inch, which I think is this one. But the guy had several other ones, and I had bought some other things from him, and he ended up throwing in some of these just here. Said, hey, take them. Two of them he said he knows are bent, but he said, here, just take them. This one here, I think this is 1.25 inches, or maybe 1.5 inches. I think it's 1.5 inches. He said it runs true. He threw it in the deal. And then this smaller one right here is going to somebody who has a horizontal milling machine that was needing one. So this one's got a home, as well as some other 50 taper tool holders. And I won't say who that is, but you may see those in another video on someone else's channel here soon. All right, finally, guys, is my assortment of horizontal mill cutters here. So actually all these came from two different sellers that I got these from. So one guy showed up and had a bunch of boxes full of horizontal milling machine cutters. A lot of them, and a lot of these in here were basically brand new in the box, and I've taken most of them out of the box just for the picture here. Some of these have been used, but some of these have been resharpened, but all of them actually look like they're in pretty good shape. If not sharp, they can easily be sent out and be reground. So anyway, I was pretty excited. So anyway, he had, I don't know how many he had. It was a bunch. He was asking $400 for all of them, but again, a lot of them were new in the box. A little bit more than what I was really wanting to put in, just random mill cutters. You know, it's one of those things, if you ever needed one or two of them, it was probably worth that. If you had to go buy brand new ones, it would be worth that. But you don't ever know what you're going to need, and quite honestly, most of these will sit on the shelf and never get used, but it's always nice to have a good selection to dig through. Well, another friend of mine who was out there, Jeff Clow, he kind of saw them and looked at them, and he came up to me and said, you want to go in together on those mill cutters? We got to talking, looking at them, and he's got a little smaller mill, and his mill will only take a 1-inch cutter, or one with a 1-inch arbor on it. That's all that mill is really capable of doing. I don't know what it was. I can't remember what kind of mill it was. He only had one arbor, and it's an oddball size arbor. So he says, all I'm interested in are the ones with 1-inch arbors. And there were a bunch in there that were smaller, larger, up to 1.5 inches, and we started digging through them. And about half of them were 1-inch arbors, and about half of them were larger arbor holes. And we ended up offering the guy $300. He took $325, and then the two of us split the lot. And he got all the 1-inch hole stuff, and I got everything that wasn't 1 inch. And then another fella that was out there that I mentioned earlier that I got the little Criterion head from, he had some mill cutters in there as well. Had a box with quite a few of them in there. Most of them were just your standard size stuff, which I've got plenty of, stuff for like cutting keyways and what have you. But I dug through there and pulled out probably another, I don't know, dozen or so cutters that I thought I might be able to use, or that were just something different that I didn't think that I had, I guess being a more accurate statement. And he threw that in as part of that $75 deal that included the Criterion little boring head, as well as the arbors, the mandrels, turning mandrels. So anyway, all in all here, I've got about 80 cutters, and I've got quite a few of these already, or quite a few cutters already, not necessarily just like these, but this will kind of just go into my collection, my inventory, and when a horizontal mill job comes up, hopefully I'll be able to dig around and find what I need. So anyway, always excited to get horizontal mill tooling. So there you go, guys. Wow, I'm excited. This is a big haul for me. Again, living down here in rural South Georgia, I just don't get a chance to see stuff like this. Some of you guys out there probably see this kind of stuff all the time. But for me, I have to take advantage and pick this kind of stuff up when I can, particularly at good prices. So that'll wrap up this episode. Again, I see today is Friday afternoon, tomorrow's Saturday, which is my usual shop day at the museum. But the museum's got a special event going on tomorrow, and has asked me to help out in running the steam-powered sawmill. So I won't have any shop time tomorrow, and that's pretty much the only day that I'm going to have any time, because I just got back in late yesterday afternoon, and then I hit the road again on Monday morning, heading out to Utah. Going to be out near Salt Lake City. Was it Park City, Utah, I think is where it is, where the Olympics was held a few years ago. I've got a conference I got to go to out there this coming week, and some meetings for work. So I'll be out in that part of the world most of the week, and then back home again next weekend, and hopefully then we'll be able to get out into the shop and start making some chips again. So thank you guys for watching. As always, thank you to my many subscribers who watch me pretty regularly. I appreciate that. I can see that in the numbers on the videos, and I always appreciate your comments. I appreciate chatting with you guys and hearing from you. So, you know, if you got a comment, please go ahead and leave it. I always enjoy having that feedback from you guys. And if you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button and come join us, and we'll be sure and you'll be sure and get those notices when we post new videos. You can see what's going on down here in the shop. So thanks again.